Hello, everyone. This is Tom, and welcome to Lone Wolf Prepper, the Lone Wolf Prepper channel, to the Dukes of Hazzard Friday Night Live. And I tell you what, what's going on in the country is definitely making Hazard County look like a saint county. At least Boss Hogg wasn't a communist. Anyway, few channel updates. The channel's growing. YouTube's really coming down hard on me. Whatever. I'm just going to keep hitting them with both barrels. It's not going to stop me from posting. All they got to do is hit the delete button if they don't want me on YouTube. So, hi, Carol. How you doing? How you doing on this lovely Friday evening? Oh, I got a good one for tonight. You're going to like this one. Believe me. This is going to be first-person experience what I'm going to talk about tonight. By the way, the channel is growing. I appreciate all the subscribers I have, all the views I'm getting, and the people. You really got to look for them because, as you can see, I put out a few stinger, as you would call them, the truth videos, and it really hits them hard. And, whatever. They can hide from the truth all they want. But what's coming, I'm not going to stop. Okay? Until they either shut me off or we fix this problem, Lone Wolf Prepper channel will be on, or YouTube don't exist anymore, which could be here real soon too. But anyway, so I appreciate it. And, I would like to dress the studio up a little bit. It's kind of bland here and stuff, but I don't get to town much. And like I say, I don't know if YouTube's going to be around in 4 months. So if it still is, and I need to still be on, then I'll dress up my studio. But anyway, let's get to the subject. The Democrats have gone full communism. And you may say, why do I say this? Because I'm going to tell you a little story about my experiences as Tim Walz as a governor. Okay? I went back to Minnesota in 2018. I had my oldest daughter with me, and I wanted to get closer to the family. Something just going on in my life where I want to take her and get closer to the family and stuff. They all lived in Minnesota. I got a good job. My life went good there. But Tim Walz, as a governor, is turning that place into East Berlin. That's the only way I can put it. Now going from Nebraska to Minnesota to visit my kids is like from West Berlin into East Berlin, if you understand that analogy. And that's what it's like. But anyway, I'll tell you why I had to move out of Minnesota, move away from a great job. I had a house, property. I surrounded by my kids and my grandkids. So why would I leave Minnesota? Why in my right mind would I leave Minnesota? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Tim Walz has turned that into a socialist nightmare so bad. And when the pandemic hit, it just got worse. What was happening is I was having nightmares. Worse than my Marine Corps nightmares. Nightmares where I was always not in a cell, but let's say in a city, kind of like 1984 style city. And I'm trying to escape this city. I'm always trying to escape where we're not allowed to leave. Kind of like the Hunger Games in a way, if you want to put it that way. Just nightmares that bothered me so much, and they never stopped going away. And I actually had one time that shook me up for a whole day. It was a Sunday. I remember it explicitly. And it was a dream. Okay, I was floating watching it, okay? I was watching it from above. But I swear to God, I saw the gates of hell. And what I saw was bad enough. but it was the feeling I felt when I experienced this experience. The despair, oh my God, it was just terrible. And that dream bothered me all day long. I rode horse, everything to try to get it out of my mind. I couldn't. That feeling of despair. But when I'm having these nightmares, right? And then we're going through COVID. I did everything against COVID. I never wore a mask. Even in a liberal state, I never wore a mask. I went to Menards one time and they said they were going to charge me with trespassing if I didn't put on a mask. So I walked out and said, well, I guess I'll never shop here again. You know, when you sit there and pick and choose. This laundromat I used to go to. Great guy. I used to talk to him all the time. All of a sudden, COVID hit. He had this sign on the door. It's not a joke. You don't want to wear a mask. Don't come into my business. So I didn't go into his business. You know, dealing with that stuff. Just flat out then telling you how to live your life. And then being surrounded by police all the time. There's more cops up in Minnesota you can shake a stick at. I thought when we put all these cops on the streets, it was supposed to make crime go down. I mean, all of this communism that was coming out. You know, the stuff that I was taught was bad, and I know was bad. I mean, during the Cold War and stuff, not many Americans were wanting to go to Russia. Okay, we had all these Russians wanting to come here. You know, I'll fly my fighter jet there and claim asylum. Well, now Lee Harvey Oswald, he did go to Russia for a couple years and married a Russian woman and stuff. Came back to the States, but let's not bring that into the Kennedy assassination at all. But the communism that he was bringing on that state was absolutely terrible, mind blowing. That's why I know I can never be a communist. I will choose death over that. And I left there on December 31st of 2022. It's got worse since then. Okay? Way worse. So I know what it's like to live under Tim Walz's, and I'm not going to say leadership, absolute control. And then another thing that's happening in Minnesota, all these foreigners that are coming up. A lot of Somalians and stuff. I grew up in a small area, okay? Small farming communities and stuff. They're still at the county fair. I was in 4-H, stuff like that. But all these towns are being taken over now by these immigrants. I mean, in Wilmer, Minnesota, they're basically building the ghetto, and that's what I'm going to call it. It's probably already completed since I drove by. Basically doubling the size of that town. Yeah, even Walnut Grove, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Charles Ingalls. You know, a place I've gone to for over 50 years, Plum Creek Park. And the town of Walnut Grove's being overrun by him too. A town of about 800. That's what's happening. Minnesota, what's happening in Minnesota is the same thing that's happening in France. The state I grew up in no longer exists. The values I was taught as a child in that state no longer exist. Okay? So I had to get out of there. And that's one thing nice about the United States of America. You can always go to a state that if you don't agree with that state's policies, even when I had to leave my family, this is how bad it was for me. Another thing I like to say, ever since my boss told me on the phone I was hired, and that would have been like the 22nd or something of December of that year, 2022, haven't had a nightmare since. Haven't had a nightmare since like that. But then now Tim Walz is gonna be vice president. You know, and I'll get into the election, what I think is all going to happen, but you know, they're going to steal it. Okay, they're not going to give up power. So I'm going to have, and if we don't do nothing and turn and stop it and go into violence and actually stop it, then we're going to sit there. Tim Walz is going to be my vice president. So I get to start having nightmares all over again. They are pure communists. Pure communists. They don't care about the Constitution. Okay? First 100 days, Kamala Harris, you get in the office. If Congress don't do what you want, you're just going to start executive orders our constitutional rights away? These people cannot do this. Just because you're president doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want no matter what rule it breaks. Communism. Equity. And then another thing about Tim Walz, okay? I leave that state, right? And where do I move to? I moved to the county the stupid fool was born in and went to school in. And then he went a couple counties over in Alliance where he taught school. Where, it wasn't the army that was bad. It was monitoring the lunchroom that was just so hard on him. What a piece of shit. Another thing I want to say about Tim Walz. Not even 3 years older than me. Not even 3 years older than me. Look at that old piece of shit. And I suppose I'm supposed to strive in my health to be just like him at his age, right? Don't think so. By the way, so I moved to the county where he was born and from and stuff. When I went to get my plates and my license renewed, and the sheriff saw me and goes, "Oh, you're from Minnesota, huh? How do you like that governor up there?" He started filling me in about our governor from Minnesota. And this was 2 years ago. Or not, about a year and a half ago. Okay? I mean, on the radio up here, they make jokes about what happens in Minnesota, their policies and stuff. Make actual jokes on the radio about it. So you can just about imagine what he's thought of here. That's probably why he had to move away. Because everybody saw who he really was. I mean, I heard, not wanting to listen to the radio since he was named vice president nominee because I didn't want to hear all the crap on the radio, but I actually turned it on once and, oh boy. Nebraskans don't like, in this area, Tim Walz. Don't like him at all. Okay? And if the people where you grew up with, area don't like you, well, you can go ahead and like him, but he's a weirdo. Tampons in the boys' bathroom. I remember that. Insanity. What's that for? So if a girl needs a tampon, a boy can sit there and say, "Here, I got one in our bathroom for you." Stuff that when we were growing up, if you would have acted like this, you would have been treated for mental illness. Now it's encouraged. I mean, I can't go through these nightmares again. If they steal the election and we don't do nothing, where am I supposed to go? Live with Sasquatch? Hey, Bigfoot, I hope you need a neighbor because here I am. And that's about what I'm going to do because I'm not going to go through those nightmares again. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. You do not want what this guy is delivering at all. At all. I mean, I'm talking nightmares worse than my Marine Corps nightmares. Communism. Okay? So she's the number one communist, and he must be the number two. All I ever hear them, what they're going to do to us, what they're going to take from us, what they're going to take from me, my rights. They're going to take my rights and my money and give them to some group that wants to be different. So they can have special rights. I got to lose my rights so they can have special rights. What about the Constitution? There's nothing in the Constitution about this. Kamala Harris is out there spouting Communist Manifesto garbage. Okay? You vote for the Democrats in November, you are voting for communism. Flat out communism. It's no longer the Democrat Party. All you older Democrats from JFK and the Jimmy Carter and the Bill Clinton, even the Bill Clinton, okay? Your party's been taken over by communists. Remember you, John F. Kennedy, Democrats? The communists are in charge now of your party. You know why? Because we were all afraid to sit there and call them communists. We weren't afraid to say it when I was in school. We were taught communism was bad. Hey, South Caucasian Express. Yeah, communists. I can't live in this. I mean, I will die before I have to live in this. I know this from the depths of my soul. And that's who they're going to have to deal with. The nightmares I had and the things I saw in my dreams from Tim Walz being my governor. I mean, I guarantee you, he becomes our vice president, she's our president, and all us patriots start having dreams like I have. You'll get out of your bed right then and there, pick up your gun, and solve the problem. They're not even hiding it no more. I have my boat ready for November if Kamala gets in the office and leaving the country until the uprising is staggered out there. Yeah, I'm going to go live with Bigfoot. If we don't rise up, okay, let's say that she wins legitimately. Then we have to rise up too and take our country back. We are not a communist country. We were not founded as a communist country. It is up to us to forget about how people feel and do our job, our inherited duty, and take our country back. But I know they're not the majority. You can see by their rallies, I don't even have to see it. I can hear it. When she's speaking and they're all going nuts, it sounds like there's about 200 people. When they do it with Trump, it sounds like a football game. But you got Democrats out there and dumbasses that'll believe it. That are going to think they're voting for the winner. But pure communism. I mean, anybody my age, you grew up in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Before Clinton got into office and was really pushing, hey, let's all be goofy, But we know the bad stuff about communism. We know about the empty store shelves, kind of like we got now. We know about watching movies about people escaping East Germany, East Berlin, and people getting killed because they want to get out of communist countries and run through the barbed wire so they kill them. I mean, these people are willing to make you a slave or you're going to die. You're going to serve them or you're going to die. What country do we live in? They're flat out saying they're communists. They're flat out saying what they're going to do. So if they get in office, it's not like they have to say, well, we didn't tell you we were going to do this. But I can't live as Tim Walz, as him as our vice president, Kamala Harris as our president. My nightmares will go through the roof. I did not escape that piece of garbage out of Minnesota for him to become part of ruler over this whole country. No. Okay? So it could turn into Minnesota, so Walnut Grove could turn into what it's turning into? A cesspool, third world town? Used to be a nice, clean little town. And now it's turned into a third world shithole because they want, they all come here to be free, right? But they bring their third world country mentality with them. Third world mentality is you don't mow your yard. You don't clean up your yard. You have a junky place. You don't clean up yourself. Okay? You understand third world thoughts? That's why they're a third world country. Because they don't have the ambition to become a first world country. And if you travel the world like I did, you'd see the difference. The mentality difference. There's a reason the United States is top dog. Or was top dog, or we had, when something was made American, it lasted forever. You only had to buy it once in your life. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to have those days back? But this is what I'm saying. We need to organize. And then we had Joe Biden interviewing, saying about the violence after the election, saying, well, basically saying that if they don't get their way, if they don't get total control, there's going to be total destruction. That's what the Democrats are going to do. Total control or total destruction. I prefer they bring on their total destruction. I'm ready to get this goddamn fight on. I'm ready to show those Call of Duty warriors what real combat is. I'm more motivated for this than I ever was flying in on a chopper before. Way more motivated. Isn't that sad? Because you know what? Now I know I'm not going to have those nightmares again. Okay, I saw the gates of hell. I felt what it felt like. Forget that. Not happening. But true communism. They don't even care about the Constitution. I like to ask Kamala Harris, what do you believe in? The Communist Manifesto or the Constitution of the United States? You see, all I ever hear about is how she's going to help this other group out by punishing me, punishing a law-abiding citizen. Okay? I'm so sick of that. I'm tired of it. Our government should not be in the business of handing out anything to anybody. They're there to protect the borders, make sure we get along with other countries, and our money supply is safe. Okay? Anything else, they're butting in your business. They're butting in your state's business. But that's what's going on. I just can't believe that they're just out in the open about it. The McCarthy God. The thing is, he was right. Everybody was getting hounded on him, right? Why are you doing this to these nice people? Well, look at where we're at 65 years later. We're just in a world of communism. And people are just cheering for it. I hope they're all ready for breadline. Communism never lasts either. It never, ever lasts. You know why? Because not everybody puts forth the same equal effort into achieving a goal. Okay, that's why our system works better. Because the more you put into it, the more successful you become. Okay? And the least effort you put into something, like if you really want to be a basketball player and you practice all the time and you make the team as a star player, but then you have this piece of garbage that wants to be on the basketball team, never practices, but plays basketball on his PlayStation and wants to be the star player, but's mad at the star player because he don't have his skills, because he didn't put forth the same effort. Well, guess what? The rewards aren't the same then. That's why communism will never work, because people are not the same or equal. And then the higher ups, all they do is try to make everybody equal at the bottom. And then take every right that God ever gave you for just being born away from you. Saying the government gives you permission to do things. I even heard now in Britain, they're arresting people for posting just video of what's actually going on in their country. They're just trying to hide the truth everywhere. They don't care. Full force. I hope everybody's prepared to live completely on your own without any type of services at all for a while. Because when this all goes down, anyway, I just know I'm not going to live under Tim Walz as vice president. I mean, I'm not going to live in a communist country. I didn't sit there and live in a country for 50 years. I'll say, when did we stop? When did I start feeling the pressure? Well, I noticed it in 94. But I would say I started feeling the pressure from the government, in the mid 2000s. Definitely when Barack Obama. I mean, Barack Obama at one time wanted to make it so you needed a CDL to drive a tractor up and down the field. That way they could put government regulations on tractors. And then there was an uproar about it. It just went away. Never happened. I mean, the government even wants to get in the tractor with me. Tell us what kind of light bulbs we can use and what type of light bulbs that can't be manufactured anymore. The ones that actually work. So we get everybody, there's no selection. You got one type of toilet paper, you got one type of towel, you got something they call hamburger that you get, okay? Everybody has the same type of paper towel. If you're lucky to have a car, everybody has the same car. Everybody has the same bike. Everybody has the same shoes. You see how communism works? Common. All Americans see it as, hey, communism is good. It gives me free stuff. And I really want to live a weird lifestyle, and they support that. Well, they support it, but you have to pay for it. I hope all these idiots that like communism realize too that you don't have a job right now, but the government will assign you your lazy ass a job. And if you're 10 minutes late for that job, you get to go spend a year in a work camp. So I hope everybody enjoys the communism. And all you people that are fighting for the communists, well, they're going to have to get rid of you somehow. They always get rid of the useful idiots because they realize if they keep the useful idiots around, sooner or later they're going to turn on them. Okay? So, we got communism coming. We need to start organizing. Big time. Because when you got Joe Biden sitting there saying, yep, there's probably, not coming out and saying there's going to be a civil war, but most everybody knows there is going to be one. November 6th is going to be a very interesting day. When they have the balls to come out and say Camel Toe and Tim Walz won. Okay? But prepare. Get out of the cities. If I was on the East Coast, I'd get off the East Coast. Get up in the mountains. Vote early and then get the hell out of Dodge. Because you ain't going to have time when stuff starts going nuts. When these people start going down the streets, okay? Now let's imagine that on the night of November 5th, that the landslide is so big that they can't cheat and Trump comes out on the stage and we all know he won. Do you know what the cities are going to look like the morning on November 6th? They're going to be crazy time. Make 2020 look like the summer that nothing happened. Now, if we happen to be having bad snow, or we may have to wait because, they are very sensitive And they're very emotional and very motivated, but it's got to be nice weather. Okay, they got to make sure they're not, feeling hurt anyway, or uncomfortable anyway, so they can let all their anger out. But do you think that's really going to happen? Do you really think they're going to announce Donald Trump as the winner? Remember, Joe Biden was elected because the press came out. The mainstream media said he won. And everybody just followed suit, which I'm sure they'll do the same this time. Okay? But we all know they're not winning. We all know they're not the majority. So we need to prepare for the fight that's coming. We need to organize. Your reactionary groups are going to be very important. When that mob is coming down the street, okay, like those two lawyers in St. Louis or Kansas City, wherever that was, and the mob was coming down, they're out there with their guns on their lawn. I mean, it sounds crazy time, but it happened 4 years ago. And now the tension's far worse. These people have had 4 years to totally just get away with whatever they want to get away with. And now after they try to kill Trump and stuff, and Trump's going to go in there and clean house, they have to do something. But then they steal it, okay? Let's say they steal it. They come out and say Kamala Harris and they do a Venezuela where there's everything showing that Trump won, but they came out because remember, it's about who counts the votes. And they come out and say they won. Then what needs to happen? I'll tell you what needs to happen. All the patriots need to get together, and we need to sit there. Let's see, this says, say there's 40 million of us. Take over every government building there is, including the White House, the Capitol, your local post office, every federal government, the FHSA, or I can't remember, the farmer's office where they get money from the Fed and stuff. Everything. Okay? Kick those son of a bitches out of our country. No, they need to be arrested, tried, and given tack hammers and turn mountains into dust. That's what I want to see. Okay. By the way, they are preparing on the other side because they know what is coming. I mean, at least they're not waiting for what they consider the moral high ground. Okay? I don't understand our side. We got to have a bad guy at our door, kicking our door in before we're going to protect our family. This is half the reason we're in this mess. We need to get together. They need to know that there's an equal force ready to hit them just as hard on November 6th. Get with your neighbors, start talking. They're forcing this on us. You want to live free, right? You want to live without government intrusion. You want our money supply to be safe. You want our borders to be secure. You want us to have respect in the world again. Well, guess what? You may have to get off your dead butt and do something about it. I wish everybody would get on YouTube. Every conservative would start a channel. And if you put just one video, I know it's kind of a headache. It's kind of, at first you don't understand it. But just one video telling the federal government that you will stand up and you will not accept this. I would love to see YouTube with 200 million YouTube channels all in one day, all giving out videos like that. How could they hide it? We need to do this stuff. We need to come out. You know why they'll be able to steal the election? Because everybody thinks they're the majority. Even though Trump is filling sports stadiums, they still got these morons believing that camel toe is more popular. Okay? All communist needs is one person to believe them. One person. And they think they sold the whole world on their stupid stuff. Okay? Throw me in re-education camps. That's another thing. Hillary Clinton and all the other Democrats. Re-education camps. Why do I need to be re-educated? I'm going to be 57 years old. What the hell do I need to be re-educated for? The world was running along, this country was running along pretty good. Until all of a sudden we decided that we ain't going to care about what our bank balance is because we're just going to print money like it's going out of style. And we're going to support all these wars. And we're going to let all these illegals in. And if you say anything against it and try to act like you believe in the Constitution, we're going to label you as a domestic extremist. Okay? If you want to stand up for your children, we're going to consider you a domestic terrorist. I mean, the sick stuff that is going on in this country, and they are flat out pushing it. I mean, when Tim Walz and Kamala Harris sit there and talk about how the LGBTQIA plus, he's all for them and stuff. Because you probably like touching little boys, Tim. And I'm going to say that right out. You're probably a sicko bastard. That's another thing we got in charge of us. Sick bastards. No, it's not. I'm not going through these nightmares again. Like I say, when you're an American, say Sonny Shorts, I like what you said. Every conservative should make a YouTube. I can tell you too when I speak. Yeah. Everybody, let's flood the algorithm. I sit there on YouTube, and if you watch me the last couple days, my channel grows, and then they just stop putting me on the feed, period. Where most of my views are from somebody looking for my channel searches, notifications, not even short feeds. Like I say, how am I supposed to get 30,000 views when you won't even put it on the feed? Once I get around that 400 views, boom, it shuts down. Whether I got that 400 plus views at 700 times it was on the short, 500 times, 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. That's just when it stops. And Sonny, you've seen the analytics. You've seen the graph. Okay? This is the way YouTube works. Especially when it comes to short. They got to put your stuff on people's feeds. And when you put it on feeds, you get views. And from views, you get likes and you get subscribers. Okay? So YouTube is a complete charge of how much you are seen on YouTube. Absolutely in charge. I don't get a fair shake like some guy putting on makeup or some moron stuffing his face full of food because he's trying to get. Those are the stupid videos I've ever seen. But if I could get a fair shake like that, where he gets put on the feed 2 million times, and then, when I run something and it's running 100% view rate, 200% view duration, and I get likes and comments, that's obviously the last thing you'd want to put on the feed, right? They're so scared of the truth. Commies are scared of the truth because it may wake somebody up. My little audience that I have may wake somebody up because the right person may hear it. Okay? Remember, Christianity didn't spread because Jesus was out there preaching, but because he preached to the right people. If he would have preached to the wrong people, after the resurrection would have happened, it would have died out. Now, I'm not expecting you to agree with everything I say, but we're all Americans. We're all in this sinking ship together. And the communists want to control all of us. The thing is, you people that are supporting them now are really going to feel suckered. Just like the Nazis after World War II knew that they had been suckered. Okay? One thing I want to make a relationship between Nazi Germany and this. Hitler had to conquer Germany first. He did that in late June and early July 1934 with the Night of the Long Knives. Conquered Germany. Went out there and basically said, I killed these people. Yes, I did, for protection of the state. And if you raise your hand against the state will come down on you. Isn't that what we're dealing with? But he had to conquer Germany first. Now we got these communists coming out being straight up honest with what they want to do. Okay? And we're going to do nothing. But just imagine. First step for Hitler was to conquer Germany. And then the second step was to conquer the world. Just imagine how easy it would have been for him to do step two. When he conquered Germany, Germany would have had nuclear weapons. This ought to scare the hell out of everybody. He threatened us with nuclear weapons. He's threatened other nations with nuclear weapons. And these people are in charge, okay? And then another thing I heard that Kamala said. It's amazing we're hearing from Kamala like we should be hearing from the president. But she's talking about cutting aid to Israel, which I think would be great. But then supporting Hamas. Terrorists and communists are going to be in the White House. Anybody ready to act? Anybody ready to get upset? Anybody ready to decide that they're not going to live under communism? I wish I could share some of the dreams I had with you. And that, I was only in Minnesota for 4 years. And I was probably having those dreams for like 2 years. It was nuts. I just know I won't be a good communist. So I guess I must be going to be fighting them. But anyway, it's you need to prepare for November 6th. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wintertime too. So if you live in a cold climate, you better have blankets. You better have a way to heat your house. When propane doesn't show up and the electricity is cut off. If you got a garage outside, you know what you need to do now? Even if it's a small garage, insulate it and get a wood-burning stove in that thing. So that can be your temporary housing. Okay, like I say, on the Titanic, all these people were losing their mind as the ship was going on. You know what I would have been doing? Let's see, we got a couple hours here. I think I can get me a life raft made in time to save my ass. That's what I would have been thinking. Instead of panicking, I'd have figured out how to get up floating on the water and, since I wasn't getting a life raft. But see, that's me. Anyway, I'm not living under communism. I'm not living under Tim Walz's form of Minnesota all over the country. Like I say, just ask somebody in Valentine, Nebraska or Alliance, Nebraska what they think of him. He is not well liked here. This is not like I tell you. I live in an area where a liberal, if they came out to cause me harm, which would be, I'd love to play with the liberal ones. But anyway, they would get a little ways out here and they'd realize that they are not welcome here and they are in the wrong place. They don't fit in and they may not make it out of here. And that's why Tim Walz had to go to Minnesota. Well, after he's a piece of shit. Okay. I am so tired of politicians telling me they're going to take my rights from me. My rights aren't absolute. Everything that if you said this 150 years ago, running for president or anything, any office, you never would have got elected. But you know what? I guess it's just because of the low quality that we've been dealing with in this world and country for a long time. Ever since we went from American made to China made and Japanese made, right? Well, Japan had some good electronics, but low quality. Low quality workers and low quality parts. Yeah, Trump's plane had to make an emergency landing. Why? Because I'm sure that inferior parts with diversity, well, maybe they don't have diversity trained people, but inferior parts. Now, where am I going to go with that? I'll tell you where I'm going to go with that. I fix my own stuff. So I'll go to the parts store and get something. And now the parts stores will tell you that 10 to 20% of their electrical parts, electronic parts, are bad, even if they're brand new. So that tells me that if this parts store has 100 starters or 100 alternators on the shelf, up to 20 of them are bad out of that 100. And that's acceptable, right? Because the last thing we're going to do is when somebody's screwing up is correct them on it, because we'll just take that product and kick it out the door anyway, because it's about getting the money. But low quality. Yeah, you wonder why parts are falling off of airplanes and stuff? I have the same thing with brand new tractors. Injector lines coming loose, tires that aren't sealed up, just a whole bunch of brand new stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, panicking doesn't help. You know, if you panic when shots are fired and start running, you're going to get shot, most likely. You hit the ground, or you do take out the enemy by fire maneuver. To close with and destroy the enemy by fire maneuver. The average civilian probably wouldn't do that, though. Panicking just leads to your death. You're exactly right, Sonny. I tell you what, I like watching your shorts. I mean, I like watching your videos. You and I think a lot alike. But we think like most patriotic Americans think, okay? And like I say, they need to get on YouTube. Don't be shy. Give her your opinion. You got a platform where you can get on your phone, make a video, and download it to a platform. And I don't care if you don't get a lot of views. I'll watch it. Like I say, all it takes is that one person to watch it. Okay, get that one share. But, you know, they do cram you down. I mean, YouTube, like I say, has got complete control. All I know is when this is all settled. You know, and this is another thing about YouTube. I want all YouTubers to realize. Okay, and all you YouTubers that are in this for the money. You know, I saw a bunch of videos trying to sell generators again. I'm so tired of people selling stuff. Okay? We're in a world of hurt right now, and you're on YouTube trying to sell generators? If you got a bigger platform than me, you better be on there spreading the word. I wish I had 10,000 subscribers. I wish I got 2,000 views in a live chat. Because I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to spread the word and get this country back and solve the problem and punish the guilty. And make sure history is recorded right. So at least in my lifetime, in my children's lifetime, my grandchildren's lifetime, they're not going to have to deal with this crap. Okay. I'm going to go short tonight. I'm not going to go an hour and 45 minutes. But I just want to tell y'all, Tim Walz is a piece of garbage. He is a true communism. He has turned Minnesota into an actual absolute third world hell. Okay? You know who's suffering? The average Minnesotan. Okay? I can't get my kids to leave there. I wish I could, but they won't leave. Okay, they're just not that they're not. They are conservatives. They are conservative, but just family roots. Then again, they're not having nightmares like I was. So, it's hard to move away from your family. That's how much I hate communism. I will move hundreds of miles away from my family so I don't have to endure that. So anyway, let's get organized. Let's put end to this stuff. Thanks, Carol. I appreciate it. I'm just so upset. I'm trying to get the word out there and YouTube's just slamming me down. No, you're not allowed to do this. Oh, we're only going to give that one 10 times on the short, on the feed, which they don't even do that. And then they want to sit there and say they're not doing it, gaslighting us, lying. Now as a creator, I see what the other creators were talking about. A lot of channels aren't growing. But if you're out there spreading fear as a prepper channel, hey, Iran's going to attack. Remember CP? We're 6 days past, but eventually he'll be right. But he sells fear, and from that he goes to his warehouse. Because that's the agenda they want. A fearful people don't think straight. A fearful people aren't going to look at things logically. And when you got a big channel like that out there spreading fear, and then I see other channels that are growing, that are doing the same thing. You know why you're growing? You know why you're growing? And I'm growing. We're on the interstate, right? And you're going 80 miles an hour, just clear as you can go. YouTube's got my governor set at 1 mile an hour. Okay, pinball. And but you know what? I'm still moving forward. Okay. Nobody ever stops me from going forward. I don't give up. YouTube, if you finally get balls enough to hit the delete button, I like to say I'm on YouTube saying what the hell ever I want. And you're canceling other guys because of this. It's like a duel we're having to see who can give up first. Don't worry, Carol. I tell you what, I got some tricks up my sleeve for YouTube, and I'm about to unleash them. I'm going to give that algorithm something it's never seen. But anyway, everybody have an awesome night. I'll be back on Sunday. See how further down the communist hole we're going. But remember, stay safe, stay vigilant, and get prepared. You're the only one that's going to be able to defend yourself. Okay? The only one. Because I guarantee the powers that be aren't even going to accept. The thing is, if you're calling 911 on November 6th to get help from the police, you're probably not going to make it. Now, I hate to say that about this country, but that's what it's coming to. Joe Biden, they're talking about civil war. All they got to do is start following the Constitution, take the pressure off of us, and it'll all end. They're the ones causing this. Like in the Marine Corps, we were a reactionary force. We didn't go in and instigate it. We reacted to people doing after they did stupid things. Okay? And that's all we're going to be doing. And in the process, we're going to be taking our country back. I hope you're all with me. Start organizing. Anyway, this is Lone Wolf Prepper. I'll see you Sunday night.